It's always sort of a constant learning process on every project. And maybe part of what I like about design so much is not just the fact that I'm going to create something new, but that I'm going to learn something new. My name is Nicolai. I'm the International Design Studio Manager, and I've been with Haworth for about 18 years, 4 of which I spent my time abroad. When I was a kid, I guess everyone's around furniture, but when I was younger, for me it was more sculpture. It was more materials and sort of just like form that I was really drawn to. We would visit museums quite often, and I always remember being kind of fascinated by like large overscale things that kind of took up space and volume, not as much by like smaller objects. I think that's what I've always liked about furniture, is that it's kind of this combination of sort of functional sculpture, if you will. You know, it's sculptural in the fact that you have to kind of give form to something, give form to these ideas that come from all different places. And I almost transferred out of design school into sculpture, but it was more the fact that I loved how furniture is kind of like sculpture, but it's sculpture that you kind of actually experience and you can touch, and it has a tactile quality to it you can use. I realized that a lot of the things I'm interested in psychology and philosophy are very true for design, in terms of how we interpret things, how we understand abstract thinking, how we try and solve problems, how we work with other people. But the result of it quite often is something physical, whether it's a chair or a piece of furniture or an object or a space. And so my first project, which was planes, was actually an international project. And sometimes seating, quite often that happens with us as well. So I had the opportunity to, hey, let's have a better connection globally, internationally with our design. There hadn't been a designer like an internal designer within Haworth in Europe. So I was the first one even to go there and be a first internal designer with Haworth. Previously, it was all working with external designers, which works out well, but not so well in the aspect that you're trying to develop like a cohesive strategy or alignment or to a brand from a design perspective, because each designer wants to put their own influence on their project. And so I had the opportunity to go out there, and then I had already known some of the people who worked there previously, but just the opportunity to be there for 4 years. I was living in Berlin, but then there's no central hub in Europe for Haworth. So you're traveling over to different countries by train, by plane, meeting with the different groups, different people from all different countries, which also have their own cultures individually. And so it was an amazing experience in terms of just taking all that in and understanding how to work with the different individuals in the different countries and understanding the different cultures. I think for Firm, my favorite part was just how much we had to invent. We were just having to make up stuff to figure out what we were trying to do. There was just so many layers that went into that chair, and so many things that kind of happened through accident, but also because of perseverance and just wanting us to do more than I guess expected. I think we're already seeing a lot of sort of hybrid solutions that are happening, or needs for hybrid solutions, because how we're working, the hours in office versus home are changing. And so because of that, we're trying to work within that, at the same time find solutions that are maybe a little bit of this, a little bit of that, like seeing task chairs maybe with less adjustments, or seeing them now answering more needs for not just the office, but for the home. And so how do you balance that out in terms of design, in terms of materials, in terms of finishes? I think one of the biggest ones is going to be sustainability. There's so much that needs to be done, obviously, but the way that we would work within our industry, I think, is going to be a big challenge. I think we can find good solutions, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there, and a lot of collaboration to get there, because it's not just, well, what does Haworth do? It's what do the suppliers do that Haworth works with? What do they do, and how can we work with them in a better way? And I think the use of more sustainable materials is going to be very interesting, and I think very exciting going forward as well.